I was there with my daughter Jessie, and I asked her, Jessie, I'm sorry for what happened to your mom, but don't worry, I will avenge her. She cried, and I hold my tears back, and I said, don't cry. Everything is going to be okay. Okay? The adventures of Sasata. Then I came to her and I greeted her. Hello. She greeted me back and said, hello. I asked her how was her days. She said her days was okay. Then I felt relieved. Then, meanwhile, them two, they were discussing about us too. So, what do you think? What's wrong with them two? I don't know. I don't know either. They just have to be their conversations there. There must be an explanation to this. They chat to each other more than they chat to the others. So, what do you think? Should we go find them? Yes, let's go find them. Maybe that would be a good idea, said Minathi. The Nats and Kala agreed. He said, yes, let's go find them. Meanwhile, Zoe called me to come. Then, next was Asata. She walked in just 2 steps. Now, she asked me, can you do this? I asked her, do what? She did a backflip, then she did that. I did a front flip and stand on my hands. Then, that's when she followed along. And that's when we were both dangling. Now, you have to do it with one arm. And we all managed to hold it with one arm. Subscribe for more. I was walking along the streets. That's when I saw Frank was crying. Franklin, what's wrong? Why are you crying? He replied that my girlfriend dumped me. And I felt heartbroken. My girlfriend dumped you. Bro, it ain't that deep, I said. Stood up and said, yes, it is so deep. But what do you do if your girlfriend dumped you? Me and Zoe, we were walking to the shop peacefully, talking to each other. That's when another guy came in front of our way. Zoe asked, can you please move out of our way, please? We're going to the shop. That guy shouted and said, no, pipsqueak. Now I stand in front of Zoe and I said, hey you, stop bullying my sister, dickhead. Now I tried throwing a first punch at him. But then he threw a first punch into my head and I fell straight on the ground. Zoe was shocked after seeing everything that happened. I landed head on the ground. Zoe got to her knees and cried. Like I said, he could have died. Minathi and Zoe were walking together when suddenly this guy appeared out of nowhere and said, give me that girl. Zoe stand back. Minathi said, don't worry, I will protect you. Then Minathi got close and that guy said, do you want to fight? Minathi said, yes, I want to fight. He threw the first punch. Minathi dug. Then Minathi gave him a headbutt. Zoe was yelling. Then Minathi kicked that guy. And the guy said, I'm sorry. And then Minathi said, don't mess with my girl again. Then that guy walked away. Now Minathi asked, Zoe, are you okay? Yes. And then Minathi said, don't worry, Zoe, I will get him next time. Truth or dare? Kala asked. And I raised up my hand saying dare. Now he told me I dared to go to Minathi and say that Zoe was cheating on him. I asked him, are you sure must do that? Bruno said, yes, just do it, bro. It's for fun. I asked them, are you guys really sure? They both nodded their heads, saying, yes, I must do it. Now, I took a deep breath, in and out. Kala said, come on, man, go on. Bruno said, yes, don't be so slow. I walked away, slowly and quietly. Are you sure it's going to be okay? Asked Bruno. Then Kala said, yes, it's going to be okay. Later, we were talking to Zoe. And then Zoe said, oh, is it true? He nodded his head. And Zoe also replied, oh, that's so cute of you. Now I said, hey, I want to tell you something, Minathi. Minathi said, yes, talk. What do you want to say? I said, Zoe was cheating on you. Look at Zoe. Zoe, you're cheating on me. Zoe said, no, I wasn't cheating on you. Then I said, it's just a dare. It's just a dare. You look at me. Wait, was it just a dare after all? I said, yes, it's just a dare Kyla made up. And I just said, I'm so sorry, Zoe. And I end up laughing in the end. I asked my dad, why can't I go to the party? He said because it's dangerous there on the streets. And by the way, there are criminals there and you'll not be going anywhere. You are staying in your room now. And I knew what I had to do. That's when I got up and think of a plan. 20 minutes later, I was running on the street. I jumped through the window and I ran away from my house. And I heard Dad's footsteps behind me. Then I hid behind a tree and I felt relieved. That's when a bully came out of nowhere and he said he's gonna kill me. I said, please Dad, help. And then my dad came and shoot him away. And I said thank you and he said I'm grounded. Hello Zoe, my best friend, greeted Lulo. And Zoe greeted Lulo back. Hello my best friend Lulo. You've been gone since. Zoe said. Lulo asked, how was your day with Minati? Zoe blushed. Oh, it was fantastic. We went to the beach. We went on a vacation on a cruise ship. Oh, it was awfully so much fun. Lulo said, that must have been fun. Well, like and subscribe everyone then for more. I asked my dad, why can't I go to the party? He said because it's dangerous there on the streets. And by the way, there are criminals there and you'll not be going anywhere. You are staying in your room now. And I knew what I had to do. That's when I got up and think of a plan. 20 minutes later, I was running on the street. I jumped through the window and I ran away from my house. And I heard Dad's footsteps behind me. Then I hid behind a tree and I felt relieved. That's when a bully came out of nowhere and he said he's gonna kill me. I said, please Dad, help. And then my dad came and shoot him away. And I said thank you and he said I'm grounded. I was walking with Jason along the streets. Then that's when we stopped and I asked, Jason, what's the mission? Don't worry, I'll tell you on the phone. Jason replied, don't worry about it. We will win. We will get the fisherman. Don't worry about the mission, I'll tell you about it. And then he started walking away slowly and he disappeared. And I was just left there. 30 minutes later, I was sitting outside at night. I could not do anything, so I decided to just stand up and just go home. I was thinking about what will happen the next day and I was thinking about what will the mission be. So I waited until the next day came. The next day, I was sitting on my phone until I got a call from Jason. I walked a few inches from the chair and I answered, Jason, what's wrong? Is everything okay? He told me everything and now I was gonna get it. Jason was walking up to me, ready to throw the first punch. And as he did, I ducked and I gave him a clean uppercut. Then I lifted his body and I threw him in the air. He fell still on the ground when I was about to hit him again. He's like, wait, I can explain. I got down to my knees and I said, yes, explain. He said because Zoe called him ugly. Now I stood up, laughing, and I helped him up. Then after that I said, well, it's Zoe, she does what she wants, so we leave her. I was lying on the ground. But then I started to move eventually. It took it all in me to lift myself up. That's when I was eventually coming off the ground. And as I stood up, I saw Jason, Dylan, Jack, and Franklin. And then I asked them, what are we all doing here? Isn't it dangerous to be out here? The rooms are dark. And Jason replied, yes, the room is dark, but we're all stuck in here together. We'll be kidnapped by the fisherman. I clenched my fist together and I said, that fisherman, I will kill him. I will get my revenge. And Jason walked up to me and tried to control my anger by saying, don't worry bro, we're stuck in this together. Anyways, we've been kidnapped by the fisherman like as I said. Now, I think there must be an explanation or a clue around here. Then Dylan came and said, come on bro, we gotta do this together. We gotta fight. Then Jack came up in front of me and said, come on man, we can do this. We can fight for our lives. Then Franklin Yes, we can do this. We can do it. We can do this, guys. That's what he said. Okay, we're going to fight together. We're going to get that fisherman. Whatever it means. And it means necessary. We will defeat that fisherman. And we will get our friends back. I was walking along the streets. That's when I saw Franklin was crying. I asked him, Franklin, what's wrong? Why are you crying? He replied that my girlfriend dumped me. And I felt heartbroken. Your girlfriend dumped you? Bro, it ain't even that deep, I said. He stood up and said, yes, it is so deep. What would you do if your girlfriend dumped you?